After Restoration Druid got a reduced mana cost of many abilities, it feels much better in raid. It doesn't make us best healers in raid, we are crown farmed, because still there is Monk, will pump everything everywhere, but it's much more satisfying to play, we are not suffering as much from mana. So let's start with the stats. On stats, your king is haste. You want to pump that haste, go to the heights. With the haste, immediately at least 5000 when you are just gearing your character, at least 5000 minimum, then you want to go up to 7000. Second diminishing is starting 6800, so that's ideal spot to be exactly there, but you can go even higher. I see some blasters to go to 8000. I think that's a little bit overshot. I would say 6800 is exactly great spot. I have a little bit less, putting more versatility for dungeons. Second stat after haste is mastery. I don't know that much because again, focusing more on dungeons. Mastery you want to have between 4000 5000. 5000 something, but 4000 5000 is ideal amount of mastery. And then the rest is just versatility critical, doesn't really matter. Most people have more versatility because they are also pushing dungeons, so there's natural choice pass. Healing wise, critical, versatility, all the good, but all what matters in raid is just haste and mastery. Haste is absolutely crucial because you are healing with overtime effects, and when you have more haste, you are healing more, and you need to click a lot of ability in quick succession with the druid. You are really clicking a lot in the raid, and that's why haste go to use, so you can just click faster and spread more hots in shorter time. Some important note, your gear, it's really important to have amalgam. This is a really massive trinket, it's dropping in Black Rookhold and is making return mana after you use rejuvenation. So rejuvenations and regrowth apply refresh Fragile Echo for 6 seconds. When Fragile Echo expires, it restores 590 mana to you. Regrowth we are casting from clear casting, so that will help too. I mean, this is really required because with Restoration Druid, our most problem in raid is still mana. It got better after they decrease our mana cost of a lot of abilities, but still, this is what you want, so definitely this trinket, if you want to pump in raid, get it. Black Rookhold, drop. And second trinket combination, most used and best combination is Pip, Amalgam and Pip. If you don't have Pip, then you go for some Blood or some Sea Star. Let's move on talent. Usually play exactly same thing on every single boss, on every single situation. Right tree is always the same. There's very little changes you can do there. Left tree you have few choices. Quite important to have Poison Dispel when you're fighting Council. And then most people are using Voucher, but I think Tiger's Dash is better choice. It just better fit my needs. I don't need to care what Arrow standing or what form I have. I just use Tiger's Dash. It's big speed burst, so when I'm standing in the wrong position, I need to change position or do some mechanic. You'll just click it and you'll have absolutely burst of movement speed. And so I think it's quite fitting, and short cooldown too. There's nothing more need to be said about talents. If you want exactly these ones, import string will be in the description. So now about gameplay. There are two important stuff or abilities you want to have always prepared, always applied. First one, most important thing to keep your eye on is Life Bloom on yourself. Life Bloom on yourself, of course, is healing, but that's not what it is about. Of course, you'll heal something, and don't care about overhealing, because point of Life Bloom on yourself is in this talent, photosynthesis. While Life Bloom is on yourself, your periodic heals heal 20% faster. That is 20% increase your healing. That's why you use always Life Bloom on yourself all the time. Even when you're overhealing yourself all the time, ideally 100% uptime. So very important, always keep a Life Bloom on yourself to just increase other heals. It will heal something, it will do some numbers, but it's not important how much is healing Life Bloom on yourself. It's important to increase healing of other abilities. Second thing, you should have always prepared. Sometimes when your raid is moving too much, it's not worth to just replace it so nobody's standing in it, or just apply it because you know just running from side to side. Like for heroic Chirac may be normal on second phase. The raid is moving so many times from side to side. I just don't bother to place it there because it's 7,500 mana. It's not very expensive, but it's also not cheap. And you want to use that 30 seconds. If it's 30 seconds under the raid, definitely worth the cost. But when your raid will move after 5 seconds from it, then you need to replace it. Or just keep it there and base that heal anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just quite heavy. So sometimes this doesn't need to be 100% uptime, sometimes there are reasons to just not use it. But usually you want to have it under your raid at all time. Of course, with extreme movement, you can just spare it, you don't do much. But when raid is mostly on one place, definitely you always want to have it under the raid. I didn't lower volume of fight over here before, so hopefully everything is nicely to hear. Because somebody was smacking here, I forgot to lower volumes, but doesn't matter. Continuing with the priorities. So we have Prepare Life Bloom and we have Efflorescent under the raid. What we are using next is usually situational because we need to have, situational. We need to have cooldown or we need to have proc. So, Group Guardians, we don't want to keep it on 3 stacks, never. So if you have 3 stacks, just use one. Doesn't matter what is happening, just use one. It's just 20 seconds charge, so it will be really soon recharge again. And it's costing almost no mana, and it's really nice heal. It's choosing good targets and usually not over healing. It's absolutely no reason to use it. If you have 3 stacks, use it. 2 stacks you can think, oh, more damage, I will keep it, use it for burst. But never have 3 stacks ready. Always at least 1 stack to be recharging. And when to use them, of course, when it's more damage to the raid, ideally time to use your trees. If you have 3, immediately use it. So you can just poop 1 tree here, 1 tree there, is alright, you can keep it for more boost. But always use them because they're really cheap on mana and their healing is nice. Just very effective thing to do. And with that I will say same priority, it's just 3 priority matters if you have cooldown or not. This one is our clear casting. So every heal of our Life Bloom we always want to have on ourselves. Anyway, doesn't matter of this mechanic. But another thing for Life Bloom, every heal that is doing have chance to proc exactly. This is basic Blizzard UI, this is no add-on, how it's showing. And it's having chance to give us clear casting. So clear casting is here from Omen of Clarity. And clear casting is making our next regrowth free of mana. That's on its own, it's quite boring, but still a free heal, we take it. But then we have our set pieces that are really working with that. So 4 piece is our regrowth from clear casting, so clear casting, as regrowth. You also cast Nourish. Nourish is ability over here. We are using trees, but trees are using nourishes. So basically the same. Nourish is a heal that is profiting 300% from mastery. And Nourish is 200% stronger. And our 2 piece is you and your Group Guardians nourishes now heal 2 additional allies. So it's that 200% increase heal, that is 300% increase mastery, is then increase another 80%, it's 40% each target twice, so 1800%. So clear casting regrowth is a really powerful and strong heal. If you have clear casting, you definitely use it. You can have 2 stacks. Even if everybody is full, you will just apply some free regrow hurt. So even when everybody is full and you have it, it's better to just use it than just keep it. Just perish that buff. So keep your eye on duration. If nothing is happening, still use it, because that duration will just go away and is absolutely 100% real mana heal. So why not? And of course, if you need to heal, perfect. It's free heal and it's healing quite nicely. Then we're getting to another abilities we also want to use as often as possible. They have short cooldowns and I usually talk about them together. So we have Swiftment and we have Wild Growth. So Swiftment will eat some healing over time effect, and then we have the healing over time a little bit more. So it's strong single target heal. That's nice. So of course, use it to do some healing. Yes. You need to consume some healing effect. Ideally to consume something that is just ending on end of the duration. So you don't lose some healing, because when you just apply new rejuvenation and you eat it immediately, you just completely waste one nice rejuvenation. So ideally regrowth to eat, and second thing is rejuvenation. If you just apply new regrowth and some rejuvenation is like 2 seconds to end of duration, eat the rejuvenation. Otherwise regrowth is better, because regrowth is healing. Regrowth all time effect is healing less than rejuvenation. After we use swiftment, we of course heal that single target. If somebody is dying, like lower health, and you use swiftment on them, even that their HOTS on them are nice duration, still use it, because it will be decent heal to just save somebody from death. So in that case, it's worth it to eat some better HOTS or better duration HOTS. Another thing what will happen when you use swiftment, you get buff Soul of the Forest, and that buff is increasing healing of your next heal. Regular rejuvenation is 100%, 150%, and your next wild growth is 50%. You want to use it on wild growth. That's why I like to talk about them together. Yes, it's just less, but wild growth is healing a lot. So usually you want to use swiftment and wild growth together. Wild growth cooldown is 10 seconds, and swiftment cooldown is 15 seconds. You can use wild growth without swiftment to possibly min-max, but usually I just use it together and it's performing very well. Use swiftment, use wild growth together. They have similar cooldowns, they are quite short, and wild growth is not that cheap. It's 9,500 mana, so when you empower every single use, it's definitely good use. Sometimes it's worth to cast wild growth without swiftment if you really want to put more AoE right now, then it's worth it. Like, if you cast it 5 seconds later, it's already nothing to heal. But if you click it now, it will be effective heal. In that case, use it. But usually, just use it together. It's not that big a difference. You are also using swiftment first, and then you're casting wild growth. So when you finish casting wild growth, you are already 1 or 2 seconds off of swiftment cooldown. So it's not really like you need to wait exactly 5 seconds for swiftment to come. And it's really important to use it on cooldown. Even when there is nothing to heal, you still want to use swiftment. Swiftment is quite cheap on mana. Swiftment is costing only 3,500. It's really effective on mana. If you don't eat some HOTS, that will be healing decently. It's very good on mana. So if you don't need to heal much, still use it. Just don't use it on wild growth. Then use that buff to 150% increase rejuvenation. Because not only is decent heal, not only next rejuvenation will be decent, so it's just worth for mana, you just spend it, because it's just 3,500. Also, we are playing Reforestation. That means every 3 casts of swiftment, we are getting Incarnation Tree of Life for 10 seconds. And that's huge, getting that free trees. So even if we don't want to use wild growth, still use swiftment almost on cooldown. Just because of that. Just so we can proc it. Just so we can get that free tree. So definitely very important to use swiftment on cooldown. Then we are getting to rejuvenation. That's about our healing in raid. That's what we do in raid. We are just clicking rejuvenation, millions and millions and millions of click of rejuvenations. Others are we have like prepared on us, survival efflorescence, or we are using it on cooldown, so swiftment, wild growth, and guardians. Things we are usually using on cooldown. Rejuvenation is 0 cooldown, and that's what we are planning to use. Like we want to plan to spread a lot of them when there will be burst healing or big AoE healing. We want to chill with them when we know this is a space we are not getting that much damage. So everything what we are thinking in a raid, everything else should be automatic. This is prepared, this is ready, alright, I'm clicking. This, the spread of rejuvenations, is what we need to think about. When, who, where, and how much mana you want to spend before the damage comes. So little mechanics with the rejuvenation. We can have 2 rejuvenation on the same target. The second one is calling germination, but it's basically just second rejuvenation. it's just a different name. Then you have a chance to spread. So every single rejuvenation when it heals is 2% chance to spread on new targets. It got nerfed from previous season, but it's still a decent way to heal. I think it's just spread. Yes, I got free rejuvenation. That's absolutely massive because it's just free heal for you. And it's also extended duration when it's healing full targets. That means sometimes it's worth it to overheal with it, because it will just extend its duration and will be ready next time you will need to some little healing. That's why it's also worth it to prepare it before you pull the boss. More about that later. A huge thing for rejuvenation is Tree of Life. So our big cooldown, we are replacing Convoke with it. What is happening with the rejuvenation when we have Incarnation Tree of Life? Rejuvenation is healing 50% more. That's a whole 50% more. And mana cost is reduced by 30%. So if you have Tree of Life, best ability to use. Also our Wild Growth is hitting 2 more targets, but Wild Growth we want to use on cooldown anyway, where we need to heal. So I count as we already use Wild Growth. So ideally Wild Growth 2 in Tree of Life. Well, everything is better in Tree of Life. I was increasing your healing by 15%, but Wild Growth is especially good and Rejuvenation is especially good. It's 50%. It's absolutely massive buff. So when you're in Tree, you focus on spam at the Rejuvenation. Of course, even mana cost reduce. It's a huge deal there. So really think about what damage is happening in raid, and when bigger damage is coming, start preparing some Rejuvenation. Ideally to time it with Tree, and definitely focus more Rejuvenation spam when you have Tree. It's cheaper for mana and is healing much more. So definitely plan your trees when you need some burst healing or any type of healing. In the Tree, Rejuvenation spam, absolutely excellent thing. Just keep in mind, if fight is a little bit longer and you will just spam non-stop Rejuvenations, you will run out of mana quite easy, even with Shiny Trinket Amalgam for mana consumption. So really plan that Rejuvenation, and sometimes it's definitely worth it to just don't spread them. To for a moment just heal with your Efflorescence and just cast Wild Growth, maybe some clear cast Regrowths and stuff like that, to not destroy your mana pool when your healing would be as effective in all the time. And then we have last gentleman in our lowest priority, and is working just for saving people, is our Regrowth without clear casting. It's costing more mana than Rejuvenation, but we have still abundance. Every Rejuvenation applied is reducing mana cost and increasing critical chance. We are kept on 12 stacks now, it's 60%. Season before, we could have 20 stacks, that means 100% increase critical strike, 100% decrease mana cost. Now it's just 60%. So spamming Regrowths was tactic previous season, we are not doing that anymore. If somebody is close to that, yes, definitely we are going to save him, ideally with 12 stacks to decrease mana cost. But usually be casting Regrowths with clear casting. Of course, with clear casting, absolutely, definitely think you do. Its healing is similar to Rejuvenation. Of course, with 60% mana reduce, his mana cost is not 7,000, but it's 4,200. And Rejuvenation is 5,500. But Rejuvenation, we are returning some mana through Trinket. That is making it cheaper by that. And Rejuvenations have other mechanics, like chance to split, make new one, or when it's healing full target, it's extended duration, so it's prepared. So that makes your Rejuvenation, your better horse. And also Rejuvenation when it's Tree of Life is healing much more. So don't spam Regrowth. It's not completely bad, because when you have 12 stacks, you can compare a little bit with Rejuvenation, but if you can choose between them, just click Rejuvenation. So a little summary of our gameplay or rotation is, we want to have life room all the times, 100% uptime on us to increase our healing, Efflorescence under raid, unless it's moving too much. Then we are spending our procs of telecasting on free Regrowth with a huge Flourishes heal, so massive heal, important. We are spending our Groove Guardians, then we are using our Swiftment on cooldown, ideally to use that increased healing of next ability on Wild Growth. Then is our bread and butter, is spreading rejuvenations, and if somebody's really close to dying, we can save them with some regrowths because they are healing faster. But it's really just saving somebody who is dying. Of course, regrowth without clear casting, as I'm talking about. There is one more thing I want to say. You can prepare some healing before you pull boss. On some bosses are worth it, on some bosses like Nimue, she's not doing damage at least first 10 seconds. It's just doing damage to tank, so it's not worth it. Maybe a little. But on bosses like Smolderon or Firag, damage is immediately when you pull boss. It's quite a good thing. That means you are preparing your HOTS before you pull. So you want to pull Larvium on yourself. I mean, everything is healing 20% faster. That means you have more chance for your rejuvenation to spread, and then you're just spreading rejuvenation on as many targets as possible. We are wearing trinkets, so we don't want to use twice on the same target, then move to the next one, because we won't get use for our trinket for free mana because we'll refresh at Echo. We need to not heal the target for 6 seconds after we apply rejuvenation. So just keep applying one rejuvenation on as many targets as possible, and you can just repeat that, sit down between that, just buy a lot of food. You will be eating a lot, few food before any pull because you never know when people decide to do counter for pull. And even when you see counter, you're just blasting, spreading. Few seconds before end of the timer, you will sit down and you will start to pull with 100% of your mana and on as many HOTS as possible. Of course, it depends how lucky you are, and also the duration will be extended by 6 seconds because it's healing full target. So even that is working for you. So definitely a little bit boost for your healing that is costing you 0 mana because you will start that pull with 100% mana anyway, as you would drink just before you all pull. It's cooldown time. So first cooldown, I want to talk about nature swiftness. Not very important, but quite important. It's just 1 minute cooldown to just keep using it. What it's doing, making you regrowth instant and free of mana cost, so it's just free heal. It's also healing 100% more. So if you don't need to save somebody's life, just keep using your cooldown to just spare some mana for some free healing. If it's type of fight or group, somebody is really falling low really often, just keep it and use it on somebody who is low. It's usable with regrowth. Then we have Flourish. It's definitely not as good as previous season. I'm mentioning previous season so much, but a lot of things had been changed. So Flourish is increasing your healing by 25%, was 100. So it's not as important. And it's still increasing duration of your HUDs. Less than before, also its duration is less than before. But it's shortened cooldown a little, so we have that for us. Think about it as extent of your HUDs, more or less, than just some burst cooldown. Of course, 25% is still a decent amount, but it's not 100 of. Let's think about it for extend duration of your HUDs. But really simple, the more HUDs you have applied in the moment you are clicking it, the more worth it is. So that means ideally you want to use it after you cast Wild Growth. Because Wild Growth is your huge heal, it's even empowered by 50% when you cast Swiftment, and Wild Growth healing is most for the start of the duration and is decreasing over time. That makes it important to extend duration of Wild Growth. So ideally you want to have as many rejuvenation as possible spread, and you just casted Wild Growth empowered by Swiftment. That is ideal time to click Flourish to extend that Wild Growth and every other HUD you have, and of course it will be heal more by 25%. Then we have our big boy, our shiny tree. What we are doing there, we already talked about it. 50% increase heal from rejuvenation and 30% mana cost reduced for rejuvenation. So rejuvenation is becoming quite a nice beast, just 3850 mana, and the default healing on the paper is 110,000. Much more. In the tree, there is one to spread, rejuvenations. Of course, Wild Growth, then we have it ready, is hitting 2 more targets. Quite important. So yeah, using that for big bursts, we are also getting shorter tree from reforestation. So also plan that the last use. So after you use Swiftment, you have 1 stack. Then you have 2 stacks, next Swiftment. it will prog your tree, and then you can just blast some nice regenerations and healing, so it's ideal to plan for it. Next one we have Innervate. Innervate is reducing your mana cost by 100%. Everything you cast during Innervate is free. And what we are doing during that, we are spamming as many abilities as possible. Ideally, we are spamming Rejuvenations, it's good for replacing Efflorescence, it's 7,500 mana, and it's also worth it to cast Wild Growth. Wild Growth is cast, it's not instant as Rejuvenations, but Wild Growth is costing almost 10,000 mana, so it's definitely worth to just cut that cost. You don't want to use Swiftment in Innervation, so if you are using with Wild Growth, use Swiftment before, pop Innervation and cast that Wild Growth, because a Swiftment is just 3,500 mana and it's just not worth one click. It's better to just click a Rejuvenation there instead of Swiftment. Best timing with that is also in 3. Of course, you have 30% mana reduction, but you are still clicking a lot of abilities when you are in 3, because you want to burst there as it's improved. So ideally, when you have Incarnation Tree of Life, use it during that to spam free abilities. A little note to Innervate, a lot of people have tendency to use it on end of the fight when their mana is starting to get low, but they could already use it at least once more. It's ideally to use Innervate as soon as possible, because you want to get used that free mana, or rather not costing you any mana, and then it will just regenerate in 3 minutes and you will use it again. Because often you can see people are not using it and then it's like last 30 seconds of fight, or they have 15% of mana. Ooh, I have low mana, use Innervate. No, you want to use it as soon as possible. Like you spend 10% of your mana and then you need some burst healing, use it. Just use it. It's okay. You won't get 100% mana during that. It's just 8-second duration. Just use it. Use that free cast of abilities and you get free mana on start, and then use it again on end of the fight. Not only on end of the fight. And the last on cooldowns is Tranquility. Tranquility is nice heal when we are channeling it. It's nothing special. Big great cooldown. Click it and you are healing. When you are using Tranquility, most healing is where you are channeling. But also you are giving some hot on the target. You want to have some Wild Growth, some Rejuvenation spread when you're casting Tranquility, because Tranquility will increase your healing. How is increasing your healing? It's just your mastery. Because it's another hot on the targets, that means everybody got, like with my mastery is 12.3% increase healing of everything else. So it's nice to have something prepared on a group when you're casting Tranquility. And it's also quite important to cast Tranquility when you use your other cooldowns. That's why also you want to use Innervate as soon as possible, because Tranquility will decrease your cooldowns by 20 seconds. So you want to use Incarnate, Tree of Life, you want to use Innervate, you want to use Flourish, because it will be nicely resetting when you are casting that Tranquility. And as everything, it's quite important with cooldowns to use them as soon as possible and as often as possible, because just sitting on them is not giving you any healing. So try to blast them as soon as possible, and then ooh, cooldown is ready, I'm ready, fine, first opening, cooldown will do some nice healing, use it immediately. And that will be everything from me. If you want this exactly guide in text, I have everything on my Discord, just hop in there and just read if you prefer guide in that way. And anyway, thank you for watching. Think about liking and subscribing, it's helping me a lot, and goodbye.